Hey all my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel, where we embrace our femininity, increase our womanly values, and celebrate our brothers. So join me on our feminine journey to learn, heal, and grow. Hey there, my Crimsonites, and welcome to the Crimson Cure channel. I'm your hostess, femininity coach, and author of The Crimson Cure, and this is my perspective. So I wanted to share this little clip that I saw, and this is, you know how they say one of the number one reasons that marriages break up is due to finances. And then also you want to pair that with the statistic that of all divorces filed, that women file divorce the most, at about 70% or more. So I want you guys to listen to this foolish man. Now, this is a show, and sometimes I watch clips of this little show. This like a call-in show, and it's mostly, it's mostly palm-colored people, but that's all right. For this instance, that's all right, because I need you to understand how chaotic some women's minds are, and especially when they don't have any control over that, when they don't regulate their own emotion and regulate their own like chaos. You should know you're having a goofy thought pattern. You know it's stupid. So don't even make this like a big deal between you and your husband. This is a you problem that you need to resolve. So I'm gonna stop talking, and I'm just gonna play the clip.
Been married for almost 3 years now, and we have a 10-month-old daughter. My husband is amazing when it comes to money. He follows a strict budget, tracks every expense, and even sends me little charts each month so I can see exactly where our savings are. Because of him, we have zero debt and a healthy emergency fund. I know that's a blessing, and sometimes I feel guilty even bringing this up, but lately I'm really frustrated. He refuses to loosen up financially. I want us to enjoy life while we're still young, go on a Mediterranean cruise, update our kitchen, and maybe lease a new car like my best friend just did. We can technically afford the payments if we dip into our savings a little. 2 weeks ago, I ordered a bit pricey stroller and put it on a buy now, pay later plan without telling him, because all the moms in my play group have that model and it just folds so easily into the trunk. When he noticed the charge, he calmly canceled it, paid the restocking fee, and reminded me of our goal to buy a house next year with a 20% down payment. He wasn't angry, he just said, "This isn't aligned with what we agreed on." Somehow that made me even angrier than if he'd yelled. I feel like the boring parent now. Everyone around me seems to be living their best life. New cars, weekend getaways, while I'm stuck couponing and checking price per ounce in the grocery aisle. Sometimes I resent that he's so disciplined. It feels like he's prioritizing spreadsheets over spontaneity, and I worry we'll wake up one day with a fat bank account but no fun memories. Am I being unreasonable? Part of me knows he's right, but part of me thinks a little debt for the sake of happiness isn't the end of the world. How do I get him to see that life is meant to be enjoyed now and not just saved for later?
Now, actually, another clip that I saw, this guy responds to that. So anybody who might be thinking that that wasn't a real thing, call in. He actually responds directly to her, the guy right here. And he basically like, girl, what? So what? He basically tell her, girl, go sit down. Please go sit down. Please leave that man alone while he's doing what he's supposed to be doing. Because you're about to crash the ship, and there's no reason to crash that ship. Well, what are you doing? You're the one that's the problem. He basically told her she was the problem. And she is. She is the problem. Here's the thing that I wanted to point out. She actually sits here and points out all the good points. She says her husband is really good with finances, and because of him, she attributes it to him that they don't have any debt at all. He budgets very well. He reports to her about where the savings have gone, where, basically where the money has gone. And as she speaks, she reveals that this is all part of a larger set of goals where now they only been married 3 years now, man. Only 3 years. Only 3 years into this marriage, this man has put into play a budget and a plan in order to buy a home for his family, while at the same time making a 20% down payment on this home, thereby reducing mortgage payments and all of these other types of payments that you got to get taxed on. There's going to be interest and all of this sort of thing. And that was another thing that this guy said as he answered her. He's like, why do you want mortgage? Why would you want a mortgage? What's the problem with you? He was asking her those questions. If your husband is making a plan to buy a home, to basically buy it, okay, with either no more payments or very few, something he can cover in a specific amount of time, okay? And he obviously had this talk with you. You obviously agreed to this, because when you wanted to make a move with the money that you didn't want to tell him about, and he looks at what the purchase was and cancels it, he comes back and tells you, these are your words. He comes back and tells you he wasn't even mad. He's like, this is just not a part of the goal. This is not a part of the alignment. You're going to have to figure out another way to have spontaneity, because having spontaneity by crashing the ship, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. And she's trying to keep up with the Joneses, because she made mention at least 2 to 3 times about what her best friend had, about what the mothers in the mother group got, and all of this type of stuff. You can't have that right now. There's a specific goal with an end date. I'm presuming that he's probably going to start rearranging the budget or loosening up a little bit once the house is purchased, once he gets over these, because that's a large financial investment that goes on for years. That's not buying a pair of pants, okay? You have to search for the houses. There's all kind of stuff that goes into house purchasing. It's not moving into a different apartment that you rent. It's a whole process that goes to that. And apparently, he's trying to make sure that he makes the right decision for himself and his family according to this, and not get into all of this debt, trying to live above his means and trying to do this and trying to do that, and getting into debt trying to appease you. And this is what a lot of women fail to understand. Y'all get these men that have plans. Y'all get these men that have money, or they got a particular kind of job, or they got, you know what I'm saying? And then you're gonna crash the ship. You're gonna sabotage it. All because you can't maintain the order that he set. You can't keep doing your part. It calls for a small sacrifice. He's not making y'all eat peanut butter sandwiches all day. That's not what he's doing. He just ain't budgeting out for you to be splurging and spending and getting this and buying that and doing this and doing that, because you don't need that right now. Cars are liabilities, not assets. So why would he agree to you making a big purchase like a new car that y'all probably don't need, because you didn't say you didn't have a car, and make payments on a car, which that payment is going to have interest? It's a debt. If you can't just buy that car, it's a debt. Even if you need the car, even if the car is within your means to pay the monthly payments on, it's still a debt until you pay it off. It's a debt until you pay it, whether it's a manageable debt or not. And she talking about, well, technically we can do the payments if we dip into the savings. That's the no-no. The savings is the point. The point of all of this sacrifice and being strict with the money is to make the savings be a certain amount. He's looking at the economy. He's looking at the job market. He's looking at inflation. He's looking at all of these things that you're not paying attention to. And because you want to live for the moment. And and if your husband is as good at finances as you say, you will have plenty of moments to live for. Because once them kids get grown, especially depending on how old or young y'all are, if you just in your 30s or something with them kids, y'all gonna have plenty of energy when them kids is grown. Then you'll have retirement, you'll already have a home, and you'll be able to go on them little trips and stuff like that you want to do. And that's the problem with a lot of you chicks. Y'all can't stick to the program long enough for the program to work. If he's doing everything that he's supposed to do, and you by your own admission is saying that that's what's happening, then why are you calling in to another man's show trying to talk to a man about how you can convince your man to not do the plan that y'all came up with? Girl, this is the finance part. They want you to think it's always because men are broke. It's not always the case. It's not always the case that the men are broke. It's because some men are very good at finances. Very good. For all we know, this man worked finances for a job. We don't know what he do for a living. And he's making sure his house is financially sound. He's doing the best that he can to make sure that even if something happened to his job, you didn't say you were working, to his job or whatever, that y'all will have something to lean back on until he can make income again. You never know what's going to happen. And you trying to spend money y'all don't got. Jump down in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Like, share, subscribe to the channel if you have not. Once again, I'm your host, is the Crimson Cure, and this was my perspective. Bye-bye, Crimsonites.